Hi, it's Clemmy from the NARM Clinic, and in this week's video, part 3 of Digestive System 101, I'm covering the esophagus. Now, the esophagus is the tube that connects our mouth to our stomach, and its job is to deliver food and fluids from one to the other. It produces quite a lot of mucus, which helps to make sure that food has a smooth ride down from our mouth into our stomach. But there's actually no absorption of nutrients that happens in our esophagus. Now, there are valves at the top and the bottom called sphincters, which open and close very quickly when food goes into it and then out of it. And these valves, as well as the help of some downward muscular movements in our esophagus, helps to make sure that everything travels down in the right way, not the wrong way up. Now, typically it only takes about 10 to 15 seconds for food to travel down our esophagus. So what can go wrong with our esophagus? So reflux is a common problem and causes that heartburn feeling or that burning sensation at the back of our throat or in our chest. This can happen for a number of reasons. It can be because of a structural problem or hiatus hernia. It can be a bacterial infection, something called H. pylori, that can live in our stomach and could cause problems in some people. Eating certain foods can also cause it, like spicy food, for example. When we have too much acid in our stomach, it can cause problems, or when we don't have enough acid in our stomach. Also, when we've eaten a very large meal or we've drunk a very large volume of water on top of that, which overstretches our stomach, it can actually cause that lower valve in our esophagus to open, and that then allows acid from our stomach to creep up into our esophagus. Now, unlike our stomach, the lining of our esophagus isn't actually built to withstand that really strong acid, and that is why we experience that burning feeling and sensation when acid escapes up there, because it's basically in the wrong place. It's not meant to be there. Now, ideally, we obviously don't want that to happen too much, because actually it can cause inflammation and damage to the esophagus, a condition called gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GORD for short. Now, there are some other things that can go wrong with our esophagus, but I'm not going to cover those in this video. But I am going to discuss how IBD might impact our esophagus. Now, it is possible to have Crohn's of the esophagus, but this isn't very common. But reflux, I have seen in clinic, is quite a common problem for people with inflammatory bowel disease. And research actually published in 2017 found that heartburn in Crohn's disease is actually associated with an increased disease activity and poorer sleep quality, and is actually more common if you've had an ileocystectomy. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. Join me again next week for our next in the series, and I will be covering the stomach.